Take two for Ridgefield. Yeah, so this has been going on since Monday afternoon, as you know. Multiple state and local agencies. Obviously, your Westport PD divers were a part of this, and it sounds like part of that crew may have been the one to recover the body.
Yeah, so our combined Westport, the police fire dive team has been involved since Tuesday. We were up there diving. We brought our inflatable up there. Yesterday afternoon or evening, a resident up in Ridgefield, or somebody in Ridgefield called to report something floating in the water. Responding officers determined that it was a body, and our dive team responded back up there. And 3 of our divers dove on the body. The body was covered, had been tangled in a lot of ground vegetation that was making the search for the party difficult. And speaking with some of the divers, when we do an exercise like this, they look for a last seen point, and the last seen point that was provided to the dive teams was inaccurate, which is probably why they were not successful in locating the body sooner. Once the body floated, our dive team, it was partially submerged still, which is why our dive team had to go and recover the body.
Okay. Yeah, I think probably maybe it was inaccurate because from what I had heard with the silt and stuff and other boats that get kind of kicked up, plus the weeds, I think they were getting some targets that didn't turn out actually being the body.
The side sonar that they tried was the ground vegetation apparently in that pond was very thick. Speaking to some of the divers, that was the biggest problem when they were down there trying to dive, was that they kept getting tangled and could not really do a thorough search pattern because all of their gear was getting tangled and caught up in the ground vegetation.
So you mentioned that somebody called in that they saw something floating. So at that point, were the divers and the people not searching at that
Yeah,
point?
so there was no active search at the time. Our divers had left. They'd been there for 3 days. The boats had been deployed. We'd come back to the PD and regroup and try to come up with another plan. Danbury, Ridgefield, all the other agencies that were up there were still trying to figure out how we were going to try to locate this party.
If you just want to comment on what really goes into this in terms of coordination with other agencies, I know from what it sounds like the different teams from different communities had been rotating out.
Yeah, so we were one of many teams that were up there that were putting multiple divers in the water looking for this party. We also set up our inflatable dive boat. It's a landlocked pond that you really can't get a boat into otherwise. So we put our boat in there to assist in deploying divers. We also used our inflatable to recover the body and bring it to shore for the medical examiner's office. So the coordination amongst all the departments that were there is just it takes a lot of coordination to make sure that areas are getting searched, documenting that those areas are getting searched, and just trying to do a thorough investigation.
How often do the Westport divers get called into other locations to assist?
Well, we get called in quite a bit to help other towns. We have our own department, our own search areas we have with the Long Island Sound. But when we go to other towns, it's a lot different than what our normal diving is here. Our normal diving here is the Sound, and they go to a lot of reservoirs and ponds and lakes and stuff.
Obviously, it's a very tragic situation. Swimming was allowed there. We don't exactly know what caused him to go under yet. He had been with a friend, as you know, from what we were told. But what does it feel like when there's kind of a resolution to it, even though the person has passed?
Yeah, I mean it validates what we had spent all of our time and energy doing. It it validates that there's a need for our dive team. It validates that our guys spend the amount of time that they do up there underwater and tangled in weeds, doing a job that is difficult at times. In this heat, with the amount of gear, it's a difficult task and a difficult job. And although it's not the resolution that we had hoped for or that we wanted, we feel satisfied that we're able to bring some resolution to the family and provide them some closure in this incident.
Can you talk a little bit about what's the history of the dive team? Is it town funded? Is it like kind of supported through a nonprofit?
It's a town funded joint police fire dive team. It's been around since I've been here, 20 plus years, and it's funded through the police department.
Are the divers enthusiasts, former military? How do they get?
When there's an opening, if you show experience or show interest in it, you have to get your open water certification and just show that you want to be able to handle a call like this and your days off and time off to come in and
You said joint police fire, but the three folks who were doing the stuff yesterday, were they all from PD?
no, police and fire, both.
Both?
Yep, there was
Okay.
I believe 2 fire and 1 PD that dove.
And how long were they up there? I know we kind of talked about they were cycling in and out. Were they up there for all the days that the search was
Tuesday,
going on?
Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday they went up there in the afternoon. Wednesday, Thursday they were back up there at 6 o'clock in the morning, pretty much all day.
It was just the schedule that led them to be called out.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it was basically our commitment to Ridgefield and to the family that we would provide services until this was resolved.
All right, thank you.